When you think about Kevin Magnussen, two very particular instances come to mind.
Once again, most unsportive driver of the grid.
He does not smash my door.
But Kevin's racing journey has been a wild roller coaster ride encompassing highs and lows. From losing his seat multiple times to staging spectacular comebacks, Kevin has seen and experienced it all. So let's take a look at the journey of the Viking so far and what the future holds for him. Kevin was born in Roskilde, Denmark in 1992. His father, Jan Magnussen, is a former F1 driver and a four-time Le Mans winner who still competes in GT series. Fair to say racing is deeply ingrained in the family. Kevin got his first go-kart at the age of 2 and swiftly developed a passion for karting. He achieved a lot of success both in Denmark and Europe. He then advanced to Danish Formula Ford in 2008. There he secured 11 victories in 15 races and won the championship. The fact that Kevin's father was a racing driver might lead most people to believe that his path in motorsports would be somewhat easier, but that wasn't the case. By the end of 2008, the Magnussens lacked the funds for Kevin to continue racing. Kevin had to abandon his dream and began working as a welder in a factory. Fortunately, in 2009, a sponsor approached Kevin and supported him to compete in the Formula Renault 2.0 Northern European Cup, where he secured a second-place finish in the championship. Additionally, he participated in the Eurocup Formula Renault, finishing 7th overall. It was also during this period that Kevin was signed into the McLaren driver development program. For 2010, Kevin transitioned to German Formula 3 and secured 3rd place in the standings with 3 wins and 5 podium finishes. In 2011, Kevin competed in the British F3 Championship where he finished 2nd, clinching 7 victories while his teammate Felipe Nasser claimed the title. For the 2012 season, Kevin joined the Formula Renault 3.5 series with Carlin alongside teammate Will Stevens. The grid that season boasted drivers such as Robin Frins, Jules Bianchi, Sam Bird and Alexander Rossi. Kevin concluded that season in 7th place ahead of his teammate who finished 12th. Kevin also tested for the McLaren F1 team that season during the Young Driver Test in Abu Dhabi and impressed McLaren by setting the fastest time on the board. Kevin remained in Formula Renault for 2013 but opted to leave Carlin and join Dams. This time, Kevin clinched the championship in a commanding manner with his closest rival Stoffel Vandoorne finishing 60 points behind him. And in 2014, Kevin stepped up to Formula 1 after being signed by McLaren to replace Sergio Perez, who had performed fairly well in his first year at McLaren but failed to impress the upper management. Anyway, Kevin's teammate was going to be the 2009 world champion Jenson Button, so yeah, it was going to be tough. Fun fact, Kevin's father Jan Magnussen also began his F1 career with the same team in the 1995 Pacific Grand Prix. Anyway, the 2014 season kicked off in Australia where Magnussen secured a brilliant 4th on the grid in qualifying. In the race, Lewis Hamilton suffered an engine issue on the first lap, and a couple of laps later, Sebastian Vettel retired as well. Daniel Ricciardo finished 2nd, and Kevin finished 3rd. After the race, Daniel Ricciardo was disqualified, which promoted Kevin to 2nd and Button to 3rd, giving McLaren a double podium finish. That podium finish made him the first Danish driver to score a podium in Formula 1, and the second Danish driver to score points in F1 after his father. He also became the first driver to score a podium on his debut race since Lewis Hamilton in 2007. That has to be one of the most impressive F1 career starts ever. At that point, it seemed like Kevin was in for a great season in F1, with many more podiums and perhaps some lucky wins as well. However, that didn't happen, and that has been the only podium Kevin has managed to score so far to this day in his F1 career. What happened was McLaren didn't have a competitive car that year and were on a downward spiral. In 2013, they were the 5th best team, and it was the same case in 2014. For the rest of the season, neither Button nor Kevin managed to score another podium. Jenson finished the season in 8th place with 126 points, while Kevin finished 11th with 55 points. Now that season from Magnussen was pretty solid considering he was a rookie. He was regularly in the points and was achieving decent results. He was out-qualified by Button almost the whole season, but that was somewhat expected. For 2015, Fernando Alonso returned to McLaren, and Kevin was demoted to a test and reserve driver role for that year. Magnussen then engaged in talks with the Andretti Autosport team to compete in the 2015 IndyCar Series. But McLaren blocked the deal at the last moment as they needed Magnussen to step in for the injured Fernando Alonso at the Australian Grand Prix. Kevin would have started the race in 17th but suffered an engine issue during the formation lap and had to retire before the start of the race. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. So Kevin spent that season on the sidelines and was released from McLaren at the end of 2015. For 2016, Kevin explored a variety of options. He tested for DTM, Le Mans, and even engaged in contract negotiations with IndyCar teams. He was also rumoured to be linked with certain F1 teams such as Haas and Manor Racing. Later, it was revealed that Kevin was signed by Renault for 2016 alongside rookie Jolyon Palmer after Renault bought the Lotus F1 team. Lotus had previously been a solid midfield team and punched above its weight, but after the French acquisition, the team struggled significantly. The car performed poorly, often struggling to finish even in the top 15. Additionally, Kevin faced numerous crashes and mechanical issues. Kevin only managed to secure 7 points, finishing 16th in the standings, out-qualifying his rookie teammate who scored a single point. Renault finished 9th in the standings that year. At the end of the year, Kevin decided to leave Renault as he felt a lack of commitment from the management. He signed with Haas for the 2017 season. At Haas, Kevin partnered with Romain Grosjean. He finished in the points in 5 races that season. He was also involved in numerous crashes and technical issues, resulting in 5 DNFs during the season. Kevin's aggressive racing style contributed to him developing a bad boy reputation. While Kevin and Romain were closely matched in race pace and overall finishes, it was Romain who came out on top in the standings, finishing in 13th place, followed by Kevin in 14th, just 9 points behind. The team finished 8th that season. Magnussen continued with Haas for 2018. This year was pivotal as Haas finally had a car that could consistently fight for points and compete at the top of the midfield. The season started promisingly, with Kevin qualifying 5th at the Australian Grand Prix. He was running 4th in the race and poised for a strong result until a pit stop blunder led to his retirement when his tyres were fitted incorrectly. The situation became even more unfortunate when the same issue occurred with Romain, who was comfortably placed in 5th. The team lost so many points that day. Kevin then secured a 5th place finish in Bahrain, followed by 6th place finishes in Spain and France, along with another 5th place finish in Austria. He scored points in 7 other races as well. However, it wasn't smooth sailing throughout. Reckless and aggressive driving from Magnussen continued, which annoyed a lot of drivers.
Magnussen is and will always be stupid. It's a fact.
Ultimately, Kevin finished the season in 9th place in the standings, outperforming his teammate who finished 14th. Additionally, the team secured 5th place in the Constructors' standings, their best ever result in team's history. Kevin continued to drive for Haas in 2019, but this time with a car that wasn't very competitive. In fact, it was the second slowest car on most tracks. Kevin achieved his best result of 6th in the opening round in Australia. However, as the season progressed, points finishes became rare, with Kevin managing to score points in only 4 other races. Kevin finished 16th in the standings, 12 points ahead of his teammate in 18th, while the team finished 9th in the Constructors' standings. Kevin remained with Haas for 2020, which turned out to be one of the worst years for the team, as their new car lagged far behind their competitors in terms of performance. Haas finished 9th in the Constructors' standings for the second consecutive year, but this time with just 3 points. Kevin finished 20th in the standings that season, behind his teammate in 19th. At the end of 2020, it was announced that both drivers would leave the Haas team. The team had decided to sign 2 rookies who would bring significant funding to the team, and had planned to focus their resources in the development of the 2022 car under new regulations instead of the 2021 model. For 2021, Kevin failed to secure an F1 seat and moved to the Sports Car Championship, competing for Chip Ganassi Racing, where he finished 7th in the standings. For 2022, Kevin was poised to compete in the World Endurance Championship for the Peugeot sports team. However, the outbreak of the Russian invasion of Ukraine led to Haas severing ties with their title partner, Ural-Khalai, whose owner had close connections to Russian politicians. Consequently, the team terminated Nikita Mazepin's contract, leaving a vacant seat. Initially, rumours suggested Pietro Fittipaldi, Haas's test and reserve driver, would fill the seat, but Gunther decided to bring back Kevin on a multi-year contract. This time, his teammate was Mick Schumacher, who had yet to prove himself. With the new regulations in 2022, Kevin made a remarkable comeback at the Bahrain Grand Prix, finishing the race in an impressive 5th place. However, this strong start was short-lived. Despite the promising beginning, the team struggled to keep up with car developments as the season progressed. Kevin managed to score points in only 5 other races, with no finish higher than 8th, which was disappointing. The season's main highlight came in Brazil, where Kevin claimed his maiden pole position in tricky conditions, giving the team their first pole. Kevin finished the season in 13th place in the standings with 25 points, while Mick finished 16th with 12 points. And the team finished 8th in the standings. For 2023, Kevin was partnered with Nico Hülkenberg, as the team decided to replace Mick with someone more experienced. Anyway, in 2023, the Haas was even less competitive than in 2022. The car showed promise in qualifying, but suffered from high degradation, causing them to drop down the field rapidly during races. Hülkenberg was exceptional in qualifying and dominated Kevin for most of the season. In races, they were both on a fairly similar level. While Nico outqualified Kevin in the standings, it was Kevin who had more points finishes. Despite having 2 experienced drivers, the team finished last in the standings. I wouldn't say Kevin had a terrible season in 2023 overall, but in qualifying he seemed miles behind Nico in terms of 1-lap pace. And so far in 2024, Kevin has performed really well. The team appears to have addressed the high tyre wear issue from last year that frustrated them during races. This year, the car seems much more competitive in the midfield. While Hülkenberg's outstanding qualifying still gives him an edge over Kevin, Kevin's race pace is quite impressive. In Jeddah, he executed the ultimate team game, defending brilliantly against the entire midfield pack and allowing Nico the gap for a hassle-free pit stop. I mean, that has to be one of the best drives of Kevin's Formula 1 career. And during the Miami GP weekend, this happened. For which he was blasted with penalties by the stewards. On top of that, he made a completely unnecessary and overly ambitious move on the home hero Logan Sargent, which ended Logan's race. Now coming to the real question, what does the future hold for Kevin? It's hard to predict given the ruthless nature of F1. Kevin is only 31, so he still has plenty of years left in the sport. However, with only 20 seats in F1 and many teams favouring younger talent, there's always a threat looming around. As Nico will leave the team at the end of 2024, Ollie Behrman is the most likely driver to fill that second seat. With a young rookie joining, Haas will need an experienced driver they can rely on to lead the team and assist in the rookie's development. Kevin's contract expires at the end of this year, but I am fairly confident that Haas will extend it, as that seems like a sensible decision with not many better options available. I don't know if you guys noticed, but ever since Kevin returned in 2022, he has demonstrated a lot more maturity than he was previously known for. In an interview, Kevin said that succeeding in F1 meant too much to him, and it prevented him from performing at his best. He mentioned that this mindset held him back for quite a few years. He was constantly scared of losing his seat and would dwell on it excessively, which distracted him a lot. However, he no longer carries that burden, and ever since becoming a dad, his perspective has changed, and it has helped him approach his racing in a different way. In the end, I would say Kevin is a solid driver. He has demonstrated a lot of mature performances in the last couple of years and has shown a lot of improvement. Though he still needs to work on his qualifying form, I believe that this year we're going to witness a lot of on-track action from Kevin, and hopefully we'll continue to see him in F1 in the coming years as well. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on Kevin? Also, join the membership if you'd like to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.